punishment tonight, rising violence on the streets of Chicago, specifically a street jump, a big jump in the murder rate this year, a steep jump. Take a look at some key statistics so far for 2012. Remember, there are still 4 months left in the year. There were 346 homicides, a jump of 31% over the same period last year. 38 homicides just in this current month alone, and most frightening of all, 34 children under the age of 18 have been killed so far this year. 34. The Chicago Tribune reports the murders this month are happening in certain neighborhoods on the city's south and west side. Ted Rowland's got a first-hand look at the battle against the violence. I should point out, we've gone to Chicago a number of times over the last several years to report on this violence. If this violence was happening in other parts of the United States, many critics say it would be getting a lot more attention. Ted Rowland went along with some Chicago police officers as they patrolled the streets on a recent Friday night.
There's a couple places I want to check out.
It's a Friday night on the streets of Chicago in the Englewood neighborhood. Joe Patterson and Leo Schmitz have been cops here for 26 years.
Now, if you go around these blocks, what you do is you scan everything. When they see you're a policeman, if they're doing something wrong or got a gun, they start moving away or running.
10 shots fired. As we ride along, there's near constant reports of shots fired over the radio.
Got a person with a gun, 73 on the
A call comes in that gets their attention.
64th and Loomis, shots fired. That's 1 block away from the police station.
It's also near a park where in the morning there's a community event planned.
Someone gun there, we know we got people over there setting up.
When we arrive, there's no sign of the person with the gun, and there's no time to linger. We leave as quickly as we arrive because there's another call just a few blocks away.
Man with a gun on 6444 Bishop.
Several officers are there when we arrive. There's a man in custody, and this gun, which was found in the house.
They're still working, so. But that's the name of the game. That's how we stop the next shooting.
This year, the homicide rate in Chicago is up about 30%, which is not what first-year police superintendent Gary McCarthy envisioned would happen when he took the job.
It's playing out not as well as I anticipated. We expected to make much greater gains by this point.
Chicago's overall crime rate is actually down 10% from last year, and like other cities, the murder problem here is concentrated in a few specific areas.
The entire city suffers when that violence happens, and this idea of not in my backyard is not okay. We have to make the entire city safe.
McCarthy's plan, which he's confident will work, includes holding gang members in custody, taking back specific street corners where drugs are sold, and using gang information to predict and stop retribution killings. But he says he needs more help from the community.
Law enforcement is not going to solve the gang problem in Chicago. Law enforcement is not going to solve the gun problem in Chicago. Law enforcement is not going to fix the educational system or the poverty rate or any of those other things.
Yeah, get close to home now. It's starting to get late, boys.
One thing we noticed on our ride along was the amount of children on the streets after dark.
You guys about to go in the house, right?
34 kids have been killed in the violence this year alone, including 7-year-old Heaven Sutton, who was shot in the head while selling candy in her front yard.
Juveniles are the ones getting shot. We got to get them home. That's where the parents can help us a lot.
Quite frankly, we need the parents to step up a little bit more and take ownership sincerely of the children and raise them a little bit better.
Stay here.
At one point, they pull over 2 men driving a car with illegal tailpipes.
You got a license?
They approach with caution and get them out. They end up being clean. No gang tattoos, just 2 young men out trying to have a good time. The men may feel like they're being harassed. Leo and Joe say it's a part of the job.
Overall, we do a good job as a police department, and our numbers, although they might have bubbled up a little bit this year, you don't know, by the end of the year we might have that taken care of.
But that's easier said than done, and there's more work to be done in every way.
Shots were just fired.
More shots fired. Ted Rowland joins us now. Why is it so bad in Chicago? I mean, is it entrenched gang problems? Is there an easy answer about what it is?
Well, yes and no. Gangs are a huge problem. They attribute about 85% of the homicides to gang activity. And the other thing about Chicago, and this is true in other cities, it's so segmented. There are areas of Chicago that are very dangerous, and then there is the rest of Chicago and the suburbs of Chicago, and it is night and day. And one of the things that not only Superintendent McCarthy, but Ron Emanuel, the mayor here, wants to happen is for people outside of these areas to start to care as well. They say they need the people from the outside to care, and they need the people in those neighborhoods to help as well if they're going to beat this problem.
Yeah, Ted Rollins, appreciate it. Ted, thanks very much. Coming up, Rosie O'Donnell says she's